This video was recorded in front of a live virtual audience. Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fashion Bunker. Today we're going to be reviewing FENDI's Spring-Summer 2021 Haute Couture show. Designed and created and conceived by none other than Kim Jones. Sweetie darling. Before we get to the show, let me explain a couple of things. So I'm going to be showing the video that Fendi posted on their own YouTube channel, showcasing the show. They have also posted their own music. Now, for fair use purposes, I can review the show, so we will be watching the video together, but I cannot utilize the music because of copyright issues. So I have placed another music soundtrack on top. Sorry about that, but it was either doing that or not doing anything. So I'd rather do it like that. It's compromising. Okay. But I have to tell you one more thing though. Because we're adding a different soundtrack, we had to also eliminate the voice of Virginia Woolf, which I think it was her. I think they had an old recording of the author talking about something in particular. Now, this show is dedicated to Virginia Woolf, or dedicated to, maybe not, but part of the inspiration for the show was Virginia Woolf and Virginia Woolf's Orlando. So there seems to be a recording of her audio saying where she's talking and explaining the power of language and words, the power of words. And she says how words are charged with meaning. And so when you use language, every word is so charged with heft and depth. It's kind of hard to utilize words in written form because an author has to, I'm just paraphrasing here, you guys. An author has to really be very creative to reinvent the depth and the heft of certain words. So that the memory connected to them can also be altered into a new form of memory. Beautiful vision and way of saying things. Now I asked myself immediately, why would Kim Jones go so deep? Because fashion ain't that deep usually. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of, he's setting himself up for failure, because you start with Virginia Woolf with such a deep quote said by her herself, and then like before I saw the show, because this quote kicks in before the show begins, so I thought to myself, oh, so is he drawing a parallel between Virginia, the genius that she was? Kim ain't no genius. Let's just not, okay? Business wise, he might be doing something right, but hold your horses, Kim. You ain't classifiable as a genius just yet, okay? So let's keep it real here, girl. So I was thinking, what are the parallels he's trying to draw between Virginia's words and his collection? And I was like, is he trying to say, because she says words have memory and heft and meaning, and kind of repetition of those words for an author to utilize certain words, how does an author find new ways and new interpretations of those words? I was thinking, is he trying to say everything has already been said in fashion? Fashion silhouettes and shapes and forms have already a certain depth and memory attached to them. How do we give them new memory and new value? Now, as we all know, Virginia managed to give incredible depth and new value through her own vision and utilization of words in prose and written form. Will Kim Jones with his collection manage to do the same with fashion? Let's see. Before we get to watching the show, I would also like to tell you to, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. You can also push the join button next to it, become a member today and get extra perks. You can also follow me on Patreon, Super Dacob, all spelled together on Patreon as well. Thank you so much to all the members and patrons who have already pledged. Thanks to you, this channel is possible. I would also like to thank my co-chatters and co-reviewers today who are here in my sidebar in the chats. You are co-reviewing with me because this video is being filmed in front of a virtual live studio audience. So all my co-chatters are ready for the fashion show. So let's watch it together and let's review it as it happens. Let's go. Okay, let's see. Now, the first time I saw this, I thought, ooh, I was like, wait a minute, are those swastikas? Like the shapes, it was like, it was all a mood. And I was like, oh, no, wait, what is this actually? Oh, are they filming from the top? It also gave me a little bit Lars von Trier's Dogville, because he shot a lot of things from the top. And then look at this, and I thought, my God, this is a huge room, almost Matrix-like. And this is where we hear Virginia Woolf talking, right? The quote that she's mentioned. And we have these rooms with these, you see, glass walls. And I was like, oh, very lockdown situation. Everybody's separated by glass walls so we don't spit on each other. And of course, these glass walls are in the shapes of Fs. Plural of one F. Fendi's logo. I thought that was very elegant, very chic, and also I thought, my gosh, spending so much money to build this up just for a 15-minute fashion show and then build it all down, what a waste. So sustainability is not the word du jour for Fendi and Mr. Kim Jones, unfortunately. The first look Bagath, and I'm thinking, she ain't walking like a model. She ain't looking like a model either. Interesting. Who is she? I thought it was Demi Moore. Or as some people like to call her, Demi. Is it Demi Moore? I think it is. She looks gorgeous though. I mean, hello? She looks pregnant too, the way she's walking. She's obviously not pregnant. Well, I don't think so. But look at, okay, so I think it's Demi. Anyway, as I saw it the first time, I thought it was her. I didn't want to double check. I just want to leave it open. You tell me what you think. Right, but anyway, so I'm thinking, why begin the show with Demi Moore? She steals the show, so you don't look at the dress, actually, really. Which, in fact, the dress is not memorable. The second dress that just passed by, there you go. You know, Fendi's famous for their furs. Delicate subject, but they don't shy. Okay, the Hadid sisters. I can't stand the Hadid sisters. I know this is like so tacky to say, but no. The dress again overshadowed by the Hadid sister. Yeah, I know beading is special, but this whole jewelry, it all looks so plasticky and heavy in a bad way. Not gracious at all. And it doesn't suit her. She's very small. Okay, now I saw Kate Moss. I fainted, but I thought, why is she walking also like she's pregnant too? What's up with that, like leaning backwards so much while walking? Something is very bizarre. Maybe because that whole drapery behind her is like so heavy and long. It's like literally pulling her back, which would not be a good thing if it were the case, because isn't she supposed to be poised? Instead, it looks really heavy. Okay, this guy, I guess they wanted to cast somebody with that head, almost like an alien / horse. Sorry, didn't want to offend him, but but then Fendi's famous for their, they're like the Hermes of Italy. They're famous for their horse riding gear as well. That lady is so beautiful, almost looks like she came from a David Lynch movie. The dress is also very interesting, especially the cutout at the back. Here again, this jewelry, you guys, no, not working for me at all. The way this gown flows doesn't work. It almost looks like it's neoprene. It looks very heavy and thick. It's not gracious. There's no grace in it. Sorry. Just for this one in the beige. Oh, look at Kate Moss. She is high as a kite. I love Katie. Katie, oh my God, I love you so much. Again, the proportions of this dress are not right. They're cut right under the knee, but they're transparent, and the model looks even shorter than she is. It doesn't grace her body. It makes it look clumpy and short. And we have another superstar. Cara is in the house. I mean, her eyes are always thick. She's the Medusa. I call her the Medusa of runways. She can turn you to stone with her gaze, and I love her eyes. This dress is dreadful. I'm sorry. This is what a student does at the end of oh my God, this is even worse. This is like a high school project, last semester. This is what you graduate with. Sorry, it's dreadful. This is Fendi Haute Couture, like, okay. And then after that, you get to see her. And she came out of Cats. slash Cabaret slash Moulin Rouge slash Chanel, because it looks like it's full of camellias, but it's not. These capes have weird lengths in the back. They don't flow properly. You see, it feels like, oh, let's attach 4 foulards, 4 silk scarves to the back and let it move. There's not enough material to flow. It's very restrictive. No, look at this. This guy wearing this thing. No, you guys, I'm sorry, Fendi. But I'm loving the setup. As expensive as it was to produce and as useless as it is, because you're going to deconstruct it right away probably, it's still gorgeous. These Fs, these gardens created in these rooms, it's very much like Black Box, you know, the TV show. Okay, we got a superstar here from the 90s. Oh, okay, now she's gone. But that dress was interesting. Okay, here, she looks too short for this. Beautiful face, though. I love the innocence in her face. Again, looks like camellias. And I'm like, girl, no. It looks like a cheap version of a costume for Star Wars. The prequels. The sleeves, the length, the earrings. Oh my God, the tackiness of it. And I know Fendi is based in Rome, and there's a lot of this Roman tackiness connected to the Maison, because Romans had that tackiness in them. It's part of their heritage. So I can accept it, but I don't like it. I mean, there you go. She's gorgeous. Also another famous, I don't know her name. But she moves like it's nobody's business. She's like, I am the queen and you shall all perish. Now, this is the final look. I first saw her and I was like, oh my God, she's gorgeous. The dress, not so. And with those white appliques, I did not recognize, you guys, this is Naomi Campbell. I always recognize her walk and her. I did not recognize her here. It took me a moment to be like, oh my God, it's Naomi Campbell. She's closing the show. So, of course, he took all of his Brits, all of his British friends and other friends from across the ponds, because Kim Jones, you know. So, you know, Kate Moss is in it, Naomi's in it, both Brits. And they're all like isolated in these like glass cubicles, lockdown cubicles with Fendi style and all the marbles and the whole inspiration for the collection, you know, the marbles. And she's wearing this opulent Roman type of dress with the marble print on it. I mean, the fabric, and look how heavy it looks. Look, she's trying to walk graciously through all of these corridors and glass walls and like climbs the stairs. Look at the heaviness of that thing. It's like she's wearing a curtain. Oh my God, no, you guys. Now, this is the funniest moment, because I'm like, okay, there's no, you know, we're in a lockdown situation. There's no audience. Yeah, Kim, you don't need to walk out and do the whole walk. Like, yay, marking my territory. Not elegant, Kim. So you guys, my verdict is faux pas. I do not feel that this collection elevates Fendi higher than it already was. It doesn't give me a nuance extra. It doesn't, except for the, in some instances, incredible choices for models / actors, actresses, and the beautiful glass cubicles, which are like such a waste of material and money, but they're beautiful to see. Other than that, the clothing, you know, I'm like, listen, the clothes have to speak for themselves at a certain point. Like, they have to have a language on their own. You're relying, Kim and Fendi, you're relying too much on all of the surrounding elements. Like you gotta be worried if your setup looks better than the clothes. You gotta be worried when your models overshadow the clothes. You gotta be worried when your whole topic of Virginia Woolf and Orlando, you set yourself up for failure. When that is stronger than the concept of your clothes, then you got a problem. And this is a problem. It doesn't elevate Fendi higher than it already was. It doesn't give Fendi, as I was saying before, a nuance extra, because it's now haute couture and now we have this something. What is the something extra? The something extra were the glass Fendi cubicle rooms. Like, that was something, like, I felt like, okay, they invested time in that and that looked amazing. So then just start doing rooms, furniture, and walls made out of glass. That's a new concept. Start selling that instead because the clothes were forgettable. That's just my humble opinion. Thank you for watching and listening to me. Now let me get to your chats. Let me see what y'all's have to say about Fendi Haute Couture Spring Summer 2021, Kim Jones' first collection. Here we go, says Melly. I mean, just like, not swastikas, oh my god. Tron, says Brendan. Yes, it's very Tron. Very Tron. Audrey says, I love the music track you are playing over Dacob. Thank you so much, Audrey. Thank you. Yeah, I tried to give something soothing, easy, simple. Emilio says, a couple in the chat are into it. Melly says, what I miss about fashion shows is the simplicity of it all. It's about the fashion. I'm bored with these effects, etc. Brandon says, it is interesting. I'll try to sit through this. Olivo says, what happened? Oh, it is Demi. It is Demi. It is Demi Moore, darling. It is Demi Moore. Isn't she beautiful? I thought she looked wonderful in the show. She's just really, really beautiful. Very regal, actually. Very regal. Love the black, says Kira. Jack says, the objects in the rooms do have some relation to Virginia Woolf's work. Share with us, Jack. Audrey says, it is Demi Moore. Brendan says, trying too hard to make it... life-changing, LOL. Yeah, I had that feeling too, Brendan. Richmond says, Demi Moore. Isn't she gorgeous? She's just gorgeous. Olivo says, what happened to Demi? Is that really her or a look-alike? It's really her. Brendan says, burn the fur. Yeah, Fendi, they just don't want to stop doing furs. They keep making those furs. They're not going to stop anytime soon, you guys. Bella is gorge, though. Plastic is fantastic, says Emilio. The Hadid sister. I envy their wealth, says Brendan. David says, I love the glass atmosphere. I love it too. Caleb says, I do think the fur looks amazing. Of course you would say that, Caleb. Melly says, the women do look pregnant, LOL. I know, they all look like very pregnant. Jack says, the cuts are historical, making them look a bit pregnant. Not done well at all. Mr. Philip Fabulous, Fenty is promoting the pregnant look. Audrey says, according to reports, she had surgery not long before the show. Audrey, do tell. I think she just needs time to heal from the swelling. Who? But Demi looked amazing to me. I don't know why it's giving me Dolce & Gabbana vibes, says Emilio. They're all Italian. It all, they're not too much Dolce & Gabbana, though. No. It doesn't go into that tacky territory. The Dolce & Gabbana of today. The Dolce & Gabbana of the 90s, not tacky at all, though. Jack says, drag earrings. Yeah. Well, after you wear them, your earlobes are like down here after you've done wearing them. Wasn't there a famous murder in the family, says Brendan, in the Fendi family? Are we going to go into that direction? The jewelry is too dramatic, says Melly. MK says, actually, Dacob, the setting is reminiscent of 1997's movie Cube. Wasn't Cube in the 2000s something? Cube came a bit later, no? Can you check that, MK? Because I watched Cube, but I thought it was in the noughties. Oliver says, gorgeous white dress, but the jewelry is tacky. Brendan says, Karl Lagerfeld used to design for Fendi. Yes, he did. What Kara is wearing is cute, says Brandon. Audrey says, I dislike Kara. She's too try hard. Jack says, the trousers on Kara didn't work. Brandon says, love to the pink dress. Andrew Evans says, rubbish. Melly says, I miss Karl. Gonna keep saying it. David says, isn't Kara for Dior? I mean, she had herses. Whoever pays her, she goes for them. Not a high school project, Emilio says. Brendan says, I actually love the high school project dress. Mr. Philip says, dreadful pink dress. Lie to me says, that's not good. Olivo says, what's with the cheap prom gowns? David says, sorry for my fashion ignorance. Yeah. David says, LOL. Brendan says, it was different. Debbie says, it's a Sears and Roebuck runway. Jack says, The gray flower coat is honestly so bad. Sorry. Mr. Philip Fabulous says, she came out of cats. Olivo says, is the theme haute maternity wear? Yeah, haute maternity. It did look like maternity. But Jack, you said historic cuts and blah, blah, so they look like that. No, it's not just the cuts. They were also walking a little bit, like leaning backwards, which, whatever. Green dress looks like it came from Dress Barn, LMAO. Candy Fluff says. Kira says, not a fan of the capes. Melly says, oh, Debbie, you kill me. Mr. Philip Fabulous, yes, I sense a Chanel vibe here with all those beadings. Andrew says, vile. David says, the glass aquariums are fantastic. S says, Dacob is ruthless. Melly says, I'm not feeling this aesthetic or the designs. Jack says, I would expect to see a bit more playing with gender if he's being inspired by Virginia Woolf. Very well said, Jack. And actually, maybe he could, maybe Tilda Swinton said no. Maybe Tilda Swinton said no. Maybe he asked her. Or are we having some political issues here? Because isn't Tilda Scottish? I don't know where Kim Jones is from. You know that Scotland is now going to have they want to push for another referendum to separate from Great Britain and come to Europe. Which, Scotland, if you do that, kudos to you. I love Scotland. So maybe Tilda was like, I ain't participating in this. But, Tilda Swinton was in Orlando, the movie. So, different. But, that gender sensitivity, you're right, Jack, that gender sensitivity that we have from... Oh, hello, Annie Rossi. Thank you for subscribing, sweetie. So, Tilda Swinton could have been on the runway in two different looks, male, female, You know what I mean? Like, if you're really going to push for it all the way. Don't go like semi. But again, maybe Tilda couldn't. Maybe they asked her and she said no. Again, the jewelry. Cheap prom. Yeah, that jewelry. Chanel made in Italy. Château. The Chateau de Dame version, says Mr. Philip Fabulous. So far, everything is astonishingly stupid and unwearable, says... LV Ayler. All, again, the jewelry. Lie to Me 101 says Star Wars. Candy Fluff says, looks like that stuff they put on TVS in Japan. Frills for no reason. Ooh, Candy, you're ruthless too. And Mina O says, everyone arrived at work after a lick down and are waiting in separate cubicles till the workday is over. Oh, the shade. Oh, Emilio, really? I mean, it's like, isn't that Gloria Estefan? Candy Fluff says, lick down. Mr. Philip Fabulous, also another famous, I don't know her name, the shade. Sorry, I just don't know her name. Audrey says, I'm not going to pretend that I'm an expert with the artistry that goes into designing fashion garments. However, there is a massive difference between this show and the Dior show we watched. Of course, the Dior show was also really a short film, a movie with a whole plot line. This was... The Fendi Haute Couture show was a catwalk that's filmed from different point of views, but there's no plot line, really, I would have loved to see each one of the characters when they enter their own cubicle, to see a short movie happening with them in their own cubicle, that each one of them lives out their own story somehow. That would have given me more life. But like this, it remained aseptic. It went nowhere. It promised a lot in the beginning, but it delivered little to nothing. Except for a pregnant Demi Moore. Cha, it's Naomi, says Emilio. Jack says, no to Naomi's look. Mr. Philip Fabulous, even Naomi walks pregnant? Debbie says, wow, that's Naomi. I know, you guys. I was shooketh. First time I saw the show, I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. But yes, that was Naomi, because later I saw an interview with her, still dressed with that weird look, like Granny Smith. And then all of a sudden, Naomi's voice, that voice, when she starts talking, she melts me every time. I was like, oh my God, that's Naomi's voice. Oh my God, that's Naomi. They managed to mess up Naomi. It's impossible to mess up Naomi. Like, with all the makeup and stuff they did, they even managed to mess her up. Like, what the hell? Amina says, legendary models. Kira says, Dior show was fantastic in my opinion. The Haute Couture show. Mr. Philip Fabulous says, ew. All, they managed to put Naomi in a glossy straitjacket, of course. Marinity. Goodness me, I'm still recovering from that comment, says VJ Loves. Oh, the horse head. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, Oh, child, the shade of it all. Andrew says, I can't, I'm gone. Oliver says, Kira, yes, Dior was amazing. Candy Fluff says, Fendi Space Maternity Collection. Haute Couture Maternity Collection. Melly says, they need the iconic models to boost the fashion, lol. MK says, I think in some designs, Jones wanted to pay homage to our great Jean-Paul Gaultier. There is even his muse, Farida Kelfa. I've probably butchered her name. I'm sorry for that. Jack says, Kim walking like a clown. Well, at least, I was expecting him to do the same thing with that photo with his little finger poking down there to little peanut look, but he didn't do the peanut this time. Oh, Kim. Oh, Kimmy. It looks like it was filmed in a shopping center, so dull and uninspired, says Audrey. And they had these like mirrors on the two sides to make it look bigger than it was. Which is good. Use the mirrors because that way you don't have to produce as much. You could produce less waste. Mirrors are always a great thing to use in tricks and illusions. Emilio says, that was dreadful. Olivo says, it's like they draped them in cheap dollies. Stop, Kim, stop it. Melly says, just again, not inspiring. Mr. Philip Fabulous, OMG, that cape is so clumsy. Naomi looks like she woke up and brought her super king-size bedspread with her, and you best believe she had her hazmat suit underneath, because that's what Naomi does. Candy Fluff says, my verdict is no. Brandon says, the men's dresses were beautiful, Dacob. Debbie says short show too. Caleb says, I only liked the fur from the second look. Everything else was just meh. I don't know. It didn't make me feel anything. I agree. Like you just said, it did not do anything to lift up Fendi. Christina Tanasova says it looked like an aquarium terrarium hybrid stage. Emilia says, Kim dangling his peanut on that runway, cha. Melly says, living in vintage clothes, there is nothing new that I want to wear. Jack says, I didn't even notice the glass was in an F formation. Mr. Philip Fabulous, and the connection to Orlando is? But Jack knows. Candy Fluff says, the set was nice and woo, Kate Moss, there is my review. Oh, Candy. Oh, yeah, MK says to Caleb, I don't like anything as I can't even remember the clothes. Jack says, my disdain for Kim has deepened after this. LMAO. Letty says the clothes were drowned in tackiness and overshadowed by who wore them. Wasteful setting and the idea of Virginia Woolf completely misused. Just terrible. Petar001 says, Fendi, you better bring back some perfume. They tried to make some pasta, if I remember well. My God. Dolce & Gabbana too. Leslie says, everything looked dead under glass, even the floral decorations. That, you know what? You're right about that. Everything had this, everything was bloodless. Everything felt very aseptic, neutered. Mateusz says Carl would be offended. Oh, that's a good one. Offended. Jack says, well, don't burn the furs. Just stop making them. Good point, Jack. MK says, kudos to Fendi for keeping using real furs. I do love real furs, and I hate synthetic furs, which are so bad for the environment. That's MK's opinion. I'm just reading it. Don't shoot the messenger. Debbie says, Dolce & Gabbana is leagues above that with their Alta Moda shows. Yeah, with the Alta Moda shows, yes, but, they're still tacky. Jack says, I would rather Fendi create something remotely fashionable than to continue using furs. I agree with you, Jack. Magnifically, hello sweetie, says, I wouldn't wear this collection anywhere unless to Versailles for a quick walk, lol. Mr. Philip Fabulous, synthetic fur is very bad for the environment. Yes, so let's just stop doing both. How about that, you guys? Stop doing the synthetics and stop doing the real ones. Easy peasy, problem solved. When the hair appliques look better than the collection, says Magnifically. Jack says, the world doesn't need furs. We aren't cave dwellers. Brendan says, the capes were like drapes, lol. Yeah, they look like really heavy drapes. The Sound of Music, when she makes out of curtains the outfits for the kids. MK says, no, Cube is from 1997. I watched it at the theater when I was in my first year at university. I remember vividly. Oh, then I'm depressed, MK. I thought it was, was it that long ago? It came out in France the same year as Titanic. Ellie says, oh, yes, to Scotland. Jack says, Tilda is Scottish. She's chilling in her mansion in the Highlands. Oh, Tilda. Come on, Scotland. 8 inches and more. Emilio. Melly says, let's all meet in Scotland. Oh, I would love to. Oh, in the Highlands. You guys, I love the Highlands. Magnifically says, I believe normal people have better taste in fashion sometimes. I think the designer overthinks the collection. I totally agree with you. Jack says, I love Scotland because it's cold all year and you can wear layers, honey. Oh, I love that. I love layers. I prefer cold to summer anytime. Not freezing cold when there's no electricity and no water. Thinking of Texas right now. I'm with you guys. That's a different type of cold, but you know what I mean. Brendan says, they just piled stuff on the models. Rich Mitch, I live right next to Scotland. Rich Mitch also says, I'm 2 minutes from Hadrian's Wall. Emilio says, how is it hanging, Rich? And Rich says, considerably. Mr. Philip Fabulous, I think Kim just threw a bunch of bedspreads on models, trying to channel Valentino draping gowns on models. Epic failure. Emilio's laughing about the considerably hanging Rich Mitch comment. Antigone says, would have loved to see Naomi as the Empress dressed by Dior. Oh, amazing. I agree. That would be amazing. She would have nailed it. So sad they gave her this dress. Yeah, it looks terrible. Brendan says, I love Farida. Magnifically says, I see models drowned in curtains. Melly says, me too. Candy Fluff, oh, you dream to move to Edinburgh or to go visit. Brendan says, it was very opulent, beyond nausea. LOL. Brendan says, cold. Mr. Philip Fabulous, I think this should be a GIF. I'm offended. No more furs, says Melly. Olivo says, who wears furs these days? Melly says, don't get me started. Candy Fluff, you could wear the white dress with the beading inside out for great exfoliation. Oh my God, the shade. Debbie says, we have a fur festival in Anchorage every February. Olivo says, haha, dying. Candy Fluff. Jack says, gotta admit, I have a vintage fur stole from the 40s, and it can be quite chic. I don't condone their production, though. Magnifique says, couture reminds me of the world today. Chaos. Brendan says, Dacob, you're right about it looking like a cheap version of Star Wars. Brendan says, I'm offended. Caleb says, there will always be a market for fur, at least within the foreseeable future. I think attention is best focused on supporting the people in the business who try to do it the most right way possible. Right. Okay. I just don't agree. So, without having to debate that. It's a Fendi show, you guys. Fendi always does furs. We're not going to sit here battling each other and throwing, blood stains on each other for who wears furs, who doesn't. We're reviewing a Fendi show. Fendi's always going to have furs. It is what it is. Some of you in the chat love furs. Some of you don't. Some of you condone it. Some of you don't. This is the life we're living in. This is the world we live in. That's just the way it is. You got to agree to disagree. Okay, if you eat meat, what's your problem with fur? LOL, says Emilio. Well, some people actually really need to eat meat to survive. There are certain deficiencies that you can have in your body, certain type of proteins. Some people are not allowed to eat any animal protein at all because they're allergic to it, on the other hand. But food, you need to survive. You don't need to wear fur to survive. And let's not forget, you're going to be wearing fur of special types of animals. You're not going to be wearing the hide of a cow that you killed so that you can eat the meat of the cow. That fur walking down that runway was not a cow fur. Anyway, Melly says, I have to eat meat, unfortunately, but I try not to. Yeah. Jack says, anyway, Kim is a mess. And we're going to end it on that note. Thank you guys so much. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do thumb it up and let me know what your opinions are on FENDI Haute Couture Spring Summer 2021 by none other than Kim Jones. What do you think about the show? What do you think about the clothes? What do you think about the setting? What do you think about the models? What do you think about Kate Moss, the love of my life? And Demi, so Demogorgon-esque type of walk, very Stranger Things. In a way, it was kind of like Stranger Things, not to think about it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already but wish to, and push the join button and become a member today to get extra perks, or join me on Patreon, Super Dacob all spelled together on Patreon. In fact, here in the sidebar, you get the thank you credits, the rollout credits, to thank all my patrons and members for supporting the Fashion Bunker. Thank you guys so much. I love how they scroll so elegantly at the end of the video. It's like a whole movie has been shot, and these are the producers and the cast members and the supporters and the patrons. It's wonderful. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. To me, it just elevates the production value of the whole Fashion Bunker, darling. Final thoughts. Well, you could join me also on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Super Dacob all spelled together, and on my to Chanel dedicated and curated Instagram profiles that are not affiliated with the Chanel brand. One is called Coco Chanel is in my house, dedicated to my collection and whatever the brand is up to these days. And then the other profile is called Coco Chanel Privé, all spelled together, dedicated to the life of Coco and all of the endeavors that she went through during her lifespan. So you could check those profiles out and, you know, get into it, get into the fashion vibe and mood. Final thoughts on FENDI. It's difficult. I have an issue in general with all of these big fashion brands. Just, it's like, you know, when you would buy the Pokemon cards and exchange them with your friends and try to, you know, collect them all. I have the feeling the same is happening with these major fashion brands trying to collect the 10 names of designers that are out there on the market, and they exchange them like little trading cards. That's really obnoxiously annoying to me. I can't stand it anymore. So you get all this, you get the same names everywhere, and you don't even know anymore who's doing what, because a year later they were doing some other brand. So like Kim Jones, what is he doing? Dior? Is he doing Louis Vuitton? Is he doing Fendi? Is he doing Dior Man, but he's doing Fendi Woman? Like, it's too much, and it's playing it safe in a very sick way, because it's not safe. It's like, oh yeah, but he's a famous name, so he's gonna bring in the clients. For what? Haute couture? No, he's not. No, he's not. And I mean, and whatever this show was, it's not gonna bring in new clients. There's no saving this show. Not even if Tilda Swinton walked down the runway. Just saying. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, never forget to never give up on love. Love y'all. See you soon. Take care. Bye. Mwah.